what is it? We met back up with the rest of the crew, and he stopped dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get on the ferry and leave town.
To heal him.
And they get on the ferry and leave town pretty quickly. So I assume on the ferry. Anything he wants to say first? No? No.
He doesn't like.
How are you doing?
Let's circle back to that. I lied, I don't want you to go first. How are you here? When did you get here? How did you know where we were? What happened?
One, how did I know where you were? You told me. And as soon as you said you were going to East Side, I wasn't going to abandon you to go there alone. I told you before that one of my friends went to East Side, and I followed her to make sure that she was okay. I am able... East Side was never my town, but I had to learn to survive. And so I am able to navigate.
But you were in Drexelbad. How did...
They're called trains. You were in one. How did you get...
I know. But aren't you leaving soon?
Yeah, I'm going back to Drexelbad, but Arliss gave me leave. As soon as you said you were going, I told him we needed to talk. And what we needed to talk about was me taking a leave of absence while you were going to Eastside.
You're nuts.
Before you say I'm nuts...
Too late.
Way... There is the old saying, the pot...
Okay. Okay. But, like, it's not... Is it a small town? I don't know.
Eastside?
Yeah.
I didn't have to... You gave me the information. Who gave you the address of the Centurion?
You did.
So, where did I know you were going?
To the capital in Tamarin and the bank in Eastside.
So, I knew where you were going to be. I simply...
But when we met up, I didn't even know where I was going to be.
I did a little bit of research beforehand, and I followed you.
Seems everyone was following me.
No, not everyone was following you, but first time on Saturday, or rest day, there was no one. First, on rest day, the only people that were following you were cut purses, thieves, and you were a hard target, and those that were willing to go after a hard target were easily dissuaded. On Sky Day, they knew you were coming, and so they didn't have to go. All they had to do was wait at the bank. They knew you were going there. But today, this morning, this afternoon, I stayed with you from when you got off the ferry to the bank. I assume the bank went well.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on until they moved really fast.
Yeah, they did.
I went up and basically followed along the rooftops, which is how I got to where I was. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything sooner. It took time to clean up the roof.
But how long were you up there? How much? What did you hear?
I heard your conversation. It was very clear with it.
I hated it. I hated all of that. You knew I was lying, right?
You were raised and trained to lie. But the time is coming that you'll need to stop. Because while the lies never change reality, they do affect us.
I wasn't ready.
I know.
But not everything I said to him was a lie, but everything. Maybe it would have been different if I knew you were there. But I didn't. It was just him, and I didn't know what to do.
And you were trying to find a way to live.
I thought I'd be ready. I didn't think we were just supposed to find the money. That was it. It was always supposed to be it. And I thought the next time I saw him, I'd be ready and I'd be able to do something. And I wasn't. I was useless. And
You accomplished your aim. You accomplished your aim in a sea of foes. And no, you weren't ready. None of us were.
What was my aim? What did I accomplish? We got in and out of the bank. It wasn't me who did that.
Really? So if you hadn't pressed, if you hadn't chosen the people, if you hadn't done the work, all of these things would have happened anyway. And the money supply for the shadow would have been stopped without you.
That's not what I meant.
I know. But it is what you said.
You heard everything I said. Every lie I thought would be the last. And I thought, I don't know what I was thinking. But I hated every second of it, and it's important that you know that.
I know.
You sound sounded different. Is that something you picked up in the army, or was that from
It was
back
from
before?
before. They, I don't talk like that normally because one, I want to be understood, and the place that is the language of East Side, and second of all, I don't want to frighten people. And that is the language of East Side, and it exists to frighten people. It is.
When it happened, when you were there, I wasn't scared. I was glad you were there, but I won't lie. The more I thought about it, that one battle that you were in, where you and Arliss were hurt. Did you kill anyone?
Yes.
I mean, it's war. It's what you're supposed to do. What you have to do. And so those boys there on the roof, you would have.
I would have killed every one of them if it would have kept you alive. I wasn't bluffing.
Yeah. I didn't think you were.
I understand if that frightens you. I understand if that. It frightens me.
Not that I have a right to judge you for that, since, I don't know how I feel that you'd kill for me. What are we? Andrew asked how we were doing, and I had no idea what to tell him, and I'd never even thought about other people. But you've saved my life at least twice at this point. And
we're children.
Yeah.
And the world doesn't have time for us to be children. I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared to face that either. All I had was weapons that were totally ineffective. But you're very beautiful to me. You're very precious. You're very, very important. And I don't know what the future holds. Because Arliss and I are going back to the same place where the battle took place. And we'll be leaving pretty soon.
I don't want you to go.
I don't want me to go either. But I have to. I can't promise you that I'll be alive in a year or 2 years or 3 years. My life is in the hand of God. And so I can't promise you and I can't demand or expect anything from you except friendship right now.
Well, pretend you could. If it wasn't a demand, if it was just
I love you and I hope that the two of us will get to live long enough to be more than friends. And I will wait patiently and faithfully for that day. As God gives me grace. And then on that day, I'll ask you to be more than my friend. And I hope the war is over then.
someday.
We're still children.
I know.
I know it seems like an eternity, to me at least. And I'm very frightened. But I also know that my life is in the hand of God. And so that allows me to keep going. But it really helps that I get to talk to you too.
That's how you go on. Your life is in God's hands, and that's it. I guess.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And all the little things in Wand are very, very precious to me too. And so getting to hear about them from you is a wonderful thing. So,
speaking of that, I'm planning to. The reason I asked to borrow your halo when we were there at the dock was because the shadow did something to it. He wiped everything off of it when he took everything off of it. And so I'm planning to ask Andrew to look at it just to make sure it's all it's all safe and fine. So as soon as it is, I'll let you know. But even once he does that, the shadow wiped everything off of it. So once it's safe, would you be able to send me
absolutely.
all of our messages?
My hope is to give it to you if we can get this figured out before I leave. Before you leave.
Of all the terrible things that came from him having my halo, losing all those messages made me maybe the most sad. I'll let you know. But he took so much off of it. A lot of it he already had. The addresses and things he already had, because I gave him so much back before everything. now there isn't much more that he got. He got a few numbers that he didn't have before, but it was just information before. It was just information about people. Now it's the information for all the people I care about, and he knows that.
He is remember, never forget. It is a creature. And as much as your life is in the hand of God, so is its. It is allowed to exist only by God's will.
I can't understand God's will.
Not your job.
But wouldn't
It's a bigger pay job to understand God's will. Bigger pay than any of us. But what matters is God is in control. Not that thing. And so whatever it's doing, God's not out of control. And you haven't lost all our conversations. Along with my address, you'll get a lot more.
I don't know how to fix this. All of those kids there, all of them, he gave the talent to. And he didn't want you to shoot them. He wanted to keep them safe more than he wanted to take care of this loose end. And they're important to him. As important as I was, maybe more important than I was. And I don't know how to help them. I can't just leave them there with him.
I would advise taking, obviously, immense care before you go against him again.
I'm not gonna.
I don't know how to help him either. And I'm pretty sure he's going to keep them close.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be today he had his face rubbed in it that he's vulnerable through them. That will not sit well with him, I bet.
I know.
So whatever he does, he's going to be guarding those children, those young people. They're our age.
Mm-hmm. But they can't be what he did to me if he did that to all of them, any of them. How could anything do that?
He was cruel with you. My bet is that he wasn't as cruel with them.
Then why would they be there?
Because they had nothing and he gave them something. I'm sorry to say I myself can see the draw. I was hungry, I was bullied. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. I didn't know sometimes where I was going to be sleeping. And if a man had come to me and offered to change my life, to give me a place, to give me a purpose, to give me food, and clothing and safety. Oh, how could I have said no? I might have loved him for that.
I'm sorry. That was your life.
That's not the point. It's that there are other children out there that have the same life. They're in more desperate straits. I at least was living in Tamarin. They're in Eastside. All they see is hopelessness and despair. He can be cruel to them, and yet if he gives them food and shelter, if he clothes them, they'll still be grateful.
I think it's worse. It's worse.
We can't expect that if we find them and offer them escape that they will accept. They don't know us.
But can we assume that?
Oh, I'm not saying we can assume that. What I'm saying is, if the circumstance comes, we shouldn't be shocked if they say no. You were treated horribly, and you had a family.
It didn't work. His plan didn't work. I didn't work. He had to start over again. And he learned the reason.
Maybe he won't be asking them to murder people so much. Maybe he'll be slower to do what he did with you. Yes, he did screw up. I'm glad he did. Honestly, I'm glad he asked you to kill me. Although he didn't say me. I wasn't important to be honest.
I picked you.
I'm glad you did. I mean, it's strange and funny and awful and wonderful all at the same time.
Yeah.
And he moves towards Theraline. And he catches himself. But there is that moment when you can see that all he wants to do is hold her. But he also knows that he can't force that on her. He stops short. That doesn't mean she can't step into his embrace, but he will not force it on her.
She doesn't move. I know what you're doing. And I can't tell you how much I'm okay with that. But I don't know. I don't want to hurt you. And I honestly have no confidence right now that I'd be able. It's not you. I need you to know that it's not you.
I know.
I told your dad. I told him that whatever this is, and he said he's gonna help me. So
Then he will. And I will be patient.
and someday we'll be more than friends. Right now. Yeah. So I found out that you were, you're paying my rent. Did you ever plan to let me know that you were doing that? Because the reason I'm here, the reason I did all of this is because I was kind of concerned about where my financing was coming from. And so when I found out that my rent was being paid for by some mysterious source, you might imagine that I was kind of concerned. It ended up not being like as huge of a mystery. I mean, I just asked Timaeus and he told me. But I'm
sorry. I did not want you to ever. I do not want you to ever feel
what?
In debt. There's so little I can do for you.
This is little.
And this was a small thing that I could do.
Nothing you do is little. It's all everything.
I want you to feel safe. I want you to be safe. I want you to know where you're going to sleep. I want you to know that you've got food. I want you to know that you're as safe as I can make you, and I did not want you to feel as though I was expecting anything back, which I'm not.
I might argue more, except I don't have anything to give you.
Your friendship is worth more to me than any monies I'm ever going to earn in my life. There's all sorts of monies all over the place. They're common. There's only one of you.
I wish you would have told me, but I forgive you.
Thank you.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Life isn't fair.
I know. But this is worse. I told Mary that I almost didn't want to tell you that I loved you because you were leaving. And she told me that was wrong and that I don't.
Well, I'm glad you listened to her. It's good to love.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't stop thinking about those kids. Because I don't know what he's telling them, because what he was saying there, I'd never heard him say anything like that before. But he called me daughter, and he's using my father's voice. And he said all of those kids, and if he's saying that, what else is he saying? And if they think what he's doing is love, I hate him. I hate it. Maybe if he was just an it'd be easier, but he's not. I thought once I remembered everything, it it would be different, and I could see him more objectively, but it's harder. It's harder because it makes all the time I trusted him that much worse. I don't know what to do with love.
I don't know what to do without it.
Yeah. Your dad and I were talking about family, sort of. I don't know. But I was confused, and I don't know exactly what it was he was talking about. But whatever it is, it's not that. Whatever that shadow family gang is. I don't know what it is, but it's not that.
The shadow senses that there is strength there. Families are stronger than individuals. And it is building a counterfeit, an imitation, in order to try to steal the strength that a real family would have. It probably, I don't know, I'm not even going to pretend to try to imagine what it thinks and what it plans, but
it's probably for that.
It sees the advantage of using family. It sees it as an advantage for strength for it and as a way of being able to manipulate and use the people that he's found. I don't know what to do. I wish I had some sort of great advice to be able to give. But I'm going to give the advice that I gave originally, and it's totally self-centered, and I don't even know if it should be listened to, but I, from the bottom of my heart, want you to listen to it, which is to say, don't go to Eastside. It is an awful, awful, evil place. It is a monster that eats people, and is never satisfied. And today, it almost ate us. I know there are people there that desperately need help. But I don't even know if they know it.
Doesn't that mean they need help more? He has to be stopped. And I know I can't stop him alone, but I don't think I'm not a part of it. There's part of me that wants to just hide in Wand and let it be someone else's problem, but it's not. Say it isn't my fault, it is still my problem. Because he learned from me, and I learned from him. I hurt him once, and I never tried it again because the day I hurt him, he killed my brother. And I never dared to try it again, and then he took all of the memories, and so I didn't know what he was, and I didn't remember I could do it. And today was the first time I've seen him since then, and I with everyone, with all those people around, I couldn't. But if I was prepared, if I was ready, if I had something, the first time I attacked him, I just used my song. I didn't even know what it was then. But now, if I could... I never intend to go after him alone. And if I could go the rest of my life without going back to Eastside, I would be happy. But I can't promise I never will, because I can't just stop. And if he stays in Eastside, I know where he is.
Then all I can do is beg of you to be very, very careful, and if I can't be there, make sure you have friends with you. And don't go running off after a Halo ever again. Don't let it choose the battleground. When you fight it on your terms, if that's possible.
I'll do everything I can to make that possible. Yeah, I think I only get one more try. Did you hear him? You were kind of busy bleeding out. The next time he sees me, I think he's going to do everything in his power to kill me. Which isn't hard.
You're in good company. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like me either.
Oh no, he definitely doesn't like you. As much as I said I wasn't prepared to talk to him, I felt like I was actually doing a pretty good job until you came up. You blew my cover. I could play this heartless thing and...
You can't expect me to stand still and ever let it touch you.
Oh, no. Before that, I looked at my contacts and found you. It was all downhill from there. There are worse things. So, as much as I'd like to, I can't promise you that I'll never go back.
I'm not asking you to.
I think he's busy. I think the fact that he let me go, I'm not high on his priorities list. I don't see him barging into Wand. He could if he wanted to. He knows where I live. He knows where Timaeus lives. He knows everything. But he also knows Mystery's there. I don't know. I don't know. I've put a lot of people in more danger than they were before. And I can't do anything about it.
Its reasons to kill you are twofold. Revenge. And making sure that you serve as a lesson to the others that it has acquired, so that they don't imagine fighting against him. But you have fought against him, and you've succeeded twice.
Generous to call them successes. But
under certain circumstances, anything you walk away from alive is a success.
And these are the
How do you kill a shadow?
I don't know how you kill a shadow.
Killing a human being is hard.
It's not that.
But if you harm our bodies enough, we die. We stop. I don't know how to stop a shadow. I think there might be ways to imprison them, but I don't know. I can't do it myself. fact, the people that always fought shadows were Pallant Knights. And we don't have a lot of those to go around right now because they're fighting wars instead of fighting shadows.
I wonder if that's a coincidence.
I would be surprised if it was.
I don't know how to kill a shadow, but I know how to hurt him, and that's something.
It is something. Because right now, it's as motivation to stay away from you. You can hurt it, and misery can hurt it. We've seen that. So long as the hurt is greater than whatever tiny advantage you would get by killing you, it'll leave you alone. Theraline, you're 13 years old. You got time to grow up.
Maybe.
We've got to.
Or we die. That's it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
My brother was 13. Huh. He seems so much older than I feel right now.
I would like to make you promises and declarations and say that we'll all be safe, but I know I can't. We have to walk by faith. We have to trust that God knows what He's doing, because He does.
He has to.
He does. That's the reality of the situation. And we have to know where our limits are. We need to help our neighbor as we are able. But we also have to remember that we aren't the saviors of the world. That's already been done. We just need to be faithful in our daily walk. We don't have to solve the big problems. The little problems are enough.
Show me some little problems.
He seems like a very big problem to me.
Yeah.
And I feel very small. And very pokeable.
Yeah, how did you get stabbed?
The gunmen up on the roof they weren't inclined to, let me tie them up.
That's crazy.
I was able to put one to sleep, but the other one I think heard me, and so it was, and I was trying to keep him quiet because I didn't want it to know that I was, getting rid of his artillery. And I could hold his mouth, or I could hold the hand with the knife. I eventually got both, but originally I had to get the mouth first.
And then he stabbed you?
Yeah. And then I hit him over the head.
I wish I could have done something. I asked your dad if you could show me, and he didn't say no.
That means something. I don't think he'll lie to you ever. And so if he doesn't say no, he may not be saying yes. He may instead be saying wait.
I felt very helpless. Then, like more than the entire time I was talking to the shadow in the alley when you went down, that was the worst. I assume the ferry isn't all that long.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So yeah, we had dinner, and then I would tell you that I'm gonna chat with Andrew. You said you were outside the door. I'm happy with whether he wanted to eavesdrop or not. He's welcome to do whatever. And then I'd finish talking to Andrew and just be like, so about fixing my halo. That was a mistake. I made a mistake. I need to not be in there with Andrew anymore. Crap, what am I gonna do?
Well, probably there's not a better place in the realm to make this purchase.
I can't let you buy me a halo.
Why not?
I don't know.
Exactly. Let's go get it. Let's go get a good one when we still got a chance. Plus, since I'm here, if we've got the halo, I can just copy over all the stuff I have. Because most of my contacts are your contacts anyway.
That's true.
So.
Okay. And so what, the next morning is they hang out in Tamarind for the one night, and then in the morning everyone parts ways?
Yeah. He's got to get on the train and head back north. And then Timaeus is like, okay, we are out of here. This place is, he wants to be out of Tamarind as much as you do.
So before we all part ways, does Lane have anything else?
Oh yeah, but it's he makes sure that she knows that he loves her and that she is terribly, terribly important and valuable and shouldn't rain on her own parade.
I love you too.
Air hug.
I love you too. Please do everything in your power not to die. I
definitely do that.
I guess it wouldn't do any good for me to say again that maybe please don't go.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Dang. I'm sad.
And he returns to Drakesabad, and your train is shortly thereafter heading back to Wand.
Not that other people are gonna ask. I think Meru might be like, what do you mean you're friends? It's like, we're friends. That's what we are. And everyone else, it doesn't matter. I didn't tell Andrew when he asked. So that's that. But it's, yeah, with the expectation of
Friends with
someday.
promises.
Yeah.
Or friends with promise.
I want things to be better. But they're not. They're this good. That was what she needed to hear. It was good because there's very much this thing of like, what did you hear, and is all of your love gone? Because I wouldn't blame you. Because, man, if I had heard what I said, because it was all cover, but it was terrible stuff. Ugh. Thanks.
It seemed evident to Lang that there was nothing that he could say that would be more surgical than what what her conscience was already clearly doing for herself.
Concerning what specifically?
What what she said to the shadow in his hearing. There was really nothing he could say.
I know he was multitasking, but was there any, as he was hearing it for the first time, was there doubt there?
There was pain. Which isn't doubt. It's
because of what she said, or because of why she had to say it?
Yes. Because of what it was driving her to say. However extremely limited he is, if he could, he would defend her from it. He doesn't have the power. And at that moment, it was being made very, very clear to him exactly how impotent he was.
That was him. Like, that was the first time he encountered, I assume, any shadow face. Not face to face, but...
Yeah.
And so, but like, lucky him, given the timing of things, he had a face to put everything to, but more so it was this is the character, quite literally.
It hadn't harmed her, and he wasn't absolutely certain it was shadow. So he shot it in the knee.
Yeah.
When it
put itself back
together again, he knew exactly what he was dealing with. The second shot was serving multiple purposes, but it also made clear that he couldn't harm it.
Mm-hmm. Not for long, not for any.
And it also made clear that it could harm her.
Yeah.
And so that was when he escalated. And he escalated very, very seriously.
I was sure. Well, actually, I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure he did. She was pretty sure he did, but wasn't. I mean, that's why she asked. And yeah, and it is this very, very split, excuse me, very split thing of, like, the absolute, like, touchedness of, like, he would do anything for me, and at the same time, it's like, I don't like anything. Anything is terrifying.
Yeah, this was the equivalent of, you have Hamas, suicide bombers. These are children. Mm-hmm. Really children. Mm-hmm. But they're on the other side. And the situation was escalating.
Yeah. I don't think he was wrong. It was just, the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh no, that was it when we were having a discussion at dinner. We ended up like calling it like the Shadow's small personal army, and I don't think that's incorrect. And given the context, like, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. It's the weird contrast of when they met. It was do no murder. And and every time she has almost killed someone or whatever, it was stopped or it was fake or it was whatever. But it was always in those cases, like, I mean, murder, homicide, straight up. And all of his situations are, I mean, no, he is on the battlefield. I mean, yeah, he's on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And, or, I mean, this isn't self-defense, but it was...
This was...
there's a certain...
This, according to the law, would be considered self-defense. These were individuals that were participating in a felony with intent to commit a felony upon her. Not theft, rape, and murder in the end. And also, he's a soldier. It's like he has had to kill people or he would be dead.
She didn't expect him to say no. It was just it was before I assume. Let me check.
Well, it was very hard for him because that is a portion of who he is that he is not proud of.
He's not a proud patriot of the realm.
He's sad that to do his duty, he's had to end other people's lives because you can't put that back. It's something that it is something that he compartmentalizes.
Which is, I mean, yeah. It's war, and it actually means something in his case. She was wrong when she said it, when they had their conversation in the stable, and it was like, why are you doing this? Like, it's war. It's like, no, this is not. That is. And it's not black and white. And that was something that she needed to just, I don't want to say deal with, just work through. But it was hard. The fact that he did everything he did so she wouldn't kill. And then he's willing to kill for her, for the realm, for her, and everyone. And then in this situation and all of that, it's really cool story, Carlo.
There are horrors, and some of those horrors are the very of who we are, that if he could, he would shelter her from them. And if the only way he can shelter her from them is bringing them on himself, that's what he'll do, and that's what he's done.
Something I didn't say, I meant was in that one battle. There's like one battle. You went to one battle and you changed. And it's not bad change. It's not like you're an entirely different person. I don't know you anymore or anything like that. But it is different. And to a certain extent, it was good. It was what gave him the oomph to be like, this is stupid. I'm not going to waffle around my words. I'm just going to say,
I could be dead tomorrow waffling.
Yeah.
Waffling is a way I might as well not even.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, that one battle changed you, and I'm sorry. I wish it didn't. I'm not sorry for the good change that has come from it, but I'm sorry that it had to happen. Which is, I mean, everything, right? And in Christian life and sanctification, it's like, man, I wish this bad thing didn't happen to you. I wish you weren't dealing with this bad thing. But I don't regret on your behalf or whatever all of the Christ-like growth that has come from it. But at the same time, man, that sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for your sanctification, but I'm sorry for the rough stuff.